Hello. Okay, before the presentation comes up, hello everyone, how are you doing? Can everyone unmute first? Everyone unmute.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Awesome.
Okay.
How do you feel in one word? What do you feel in one word?
Excellent.
Excellent.
Amazing.
Happy. Energetic.
Awesome, happy,
Wonderful.
wonderful.
Sunday blues.
Sorry?
Sunday blues.
That's two
Sunday.
words.
Subbu.
Two words. Okay, one word exactly, Anita. That's right. All right. Now, in the last, let's say, last 15 minutes almost, we had something called as the judges training, but we understood a little bit of what it takes to effectively and efficiently judge a Toastmaster speech contest. But one thing is, what is a speech contest and why do we really do it? How do we really go about it? Is something that is a big question, I would say. We might have experienced a speech contest in our Toastmasters journey, or we might not have experienced a speech contest as well. But one of the most important things is one speech contest is a place where a person evolves as an individual, be it a person who participates in the contest or, as a matter of fact, as a contest official as well. So we will be covering some of these aspects today, and we will look at how and what this contest is all about and what are the different roles and things like that. So like what Malini ma'am had mentioned, please keep your questions in the chat box directly to Samarth or to everybody. And we will take it towards the end of the session as a small panel. Are we all ready? Excellent, excellent. Okay, let me share that screen. As soon as you see the screen, can you give me a thumbs up, please? Yes. Okay.
Yep.
Sorry, I just realized I'm on mute. I think I'm audible now. Perfect. So what is contest management? What is it all about? And why do we conduct Toastmasters speech contests? First and the foremost thing, what we have to understand is a Toastmasters speech contest has very simple purpose: to give opportunity for our members to gain a wonderful speaking experience, because the pressure that they will be in, the kind of mindset that every contestant or emotions that every contestant would go through is something that is unmatchable. Can I have a raise of hands of how many people in this particular audience has been a Toastmaster speech contest? Yes, raise your hand. Whenever, whichever level, club, area, division. I see Arundhati's hand go first. She was the last year's district 92 champion in 2 contests, by the way. And in another contest, she was second place winner. Thank you, Arundhati. So many of us has been a contestant. I think wonderful. I'm pretty sure that every single one of you would agree with what I just mentioned. Kind of emotions that we go through as a contestant is incredible. And that's where, like I said, we evolve as individuals, we evolve as speakers. And of course, when we look at such wonderful contestants who have gained beautiful experiences, it's our own learning experience as well. We learn from these wonderful speakers. One standard rule that we would need to remember: every contest that is conducted at be it at a club, area, division, district, or even at the Toastmasters international stage, it's always as per the rule book that is published for this particular program year, that is 2022 and 2023. What is contest management? There are different formats of contests that are available right now: online, on-site, or hybrid. Whatever the case may be, a club will be able to decide which particular format the club wants to follow by the executive committee. But as a district, what we have decided is to go with hybrid mode of contest at area, division, and district level contests for this program year. Now, does that mean that we will not be able to conduct completely on-site contests at these levels? It does. We have received specific instructions from Toastmasters International, and this was also approved by the district executive committee and the district council members. Now, that is, a contest can be conducted either only online or only hybrid as far as district organized contests are concerned. And as a district, we decided to go ahead with the hybrid. And that's why planning is very, very important. For planning, there are several roles that are really required when it comes to contest itself. One of the most important being the contest chair. We have chief judge, a contest toastmaster, which is definitely an optional role, timers, sergeant at arms, ballot counters, judges, contestants. Obviously, hey, that's what they're for. And in mode of hybrid and online contest, we would require moderators as well, which is something that we might have been used to in the last couple of years, especially the year before last year itself, wherein we had all contests that were conducted entirely online. One key point that we would need to remember that every role player's responsibility is to ensure that he or she has a good connectivity, network connectivity, and has zero disruption during the contest. Now let's talk about the contest chair. If president is the CEO of the club, if district director is the CEO of the district, hey, contest chair is the CEO of the contest. And that's exactly what the contest chair is required to do. So every role that we would look at from the previous slide, if you see, for each of these roles, we will be looking at three major aspects: one before the contest, after the contest, and during the contest. So these are the three, I would say, segments of roles and responsibilities that we will be looking at for each role. Contest chair, a paid member, and is eligible to compete in the contest that is held during the same event. Now, for before the contest, there are very few things that the contest chair needs to take care of. One is the budget. Now, wherever it is applicable when it comes to awards and all these things, as a standard practice, we would need to remember that every contest or every event in Toastmasters must break even and must not end up in losses. Now, the contest chair also needs to plan the program of the entire event and the logistics of the entire event. Now, let's talk about the budget part of it. Now, as far as budget is concerned, we have trophies, certificates, postage or courier charges for awards and certificates. And in case there is an online platform that we use, a license for that if it is applicable. So for club level contests, it's definitely at the club discretion. And for area, division and district level contests, we would need not worry too much about it because the trophies and the online platform is also provided for the area, division and district level contest by the district itself. All the copies of the bills must be submitted to the club treasurer or the finance manager when it comes to the district level or district organized contest specifically. Now, one important point over here that we need to remember, any conference or an event can have an entry fee. There is no doubt about it, be it your club, area, division, or a district level conference rather, can have an entry fee. However, no contestant must be charged for an entry fee if the contestant wishes to participate only in the contest. That's the thing. In addition to that, if you want to charge for the meals, that's a different case altogether. But if the contestant decides to participate only for the contest, then we cannot charge him or her. Now, when it comes to program, there are a few things that we would need to keep in mind. Planning is one of the most important aspects. We often see there is a challenge of finding role players or judges or contest officials in simple terms for every level. That is every level of contest. So that is why we request the club officers over here to appoint contest chairs very, very early when it comes to the contest, and at least 2 weeks before, let the chief judge be appointed and respective contest officials at least a week before itself. That will also give you enough time for promotions and take care of the aspects that are required when it comes to the logistics part of it. Now, when it comes to the appointment of contest officials, be it the contest toastmaster. Now, the contest toastmaster is definitely an optional role. Now, the thing over here is the contest toastmaster's role and responsibilities is pretty much the same as that of the contest chair. That's what we would need to remember, be it on stage or off stage. It's similar to the contest chair, and he or she will work with the contest chair to get in all the aspects about the contest ready. Timers, we would need 2 timers on site and likewise 2 timers online as well. Ballot counters, sergeant at arms, test speaker for evaluation contest, and the moderators. Now, when it comes to the agenda part of it, the very simple agenda is what we will follow when it comes to the timing part as far as the contest is concerned. So be sure you understand the number of contestants that are available and prepare the timing or the program accordingly. In case there are senior members of the club or leaders in the organization that you wish to give the stage time for or invite them for the event, please be sure to do so as well. Now, once that is done, make sure that the invitation is sent out to all the members and all the stakeholders of the contest as well. Now, for the entire session or for the entire meeting, in case you would want to understand what a very specific briefing documents or what are the specific points that we would need to cover, there is a specific checklist that is available for download from the District 121 website and the briefing document that are applicable for the contest chairs, for the contestants, and more than anything else for every single role player as well. Moving on to the logistics part, like I mentioned, go check the contest chair checklist that covers every single aspect when it comes to a contest. There are contest packages that are available for download on the website, which would give you in-depth knowledge about every specific role. And your responsibility as a contest chair would be to download the contestant packet, make sure that the contestants are given those. Contest officials packet, make sure the respective contest officials are given those. And judges, please hand it over to the chief judge of the contest that you are. Now, what is the content of the contest official packet or the judges packet is something very simply the requirements of that particular role. That's exactly what these respective packets would have, and you may wish to use those documents that we have prepared as a part of the District 121's contest management part of it. So now, one point which every contest chair needs to verify, that is the eligibility of contestant. Now, this particular contestant eligibility can be verified in 2 simple ways, using the help of the club officers and the district leaders, that is the eligibility assistant that is available in their respective leadership centers, or by writing to Toastmasters International Speech Contest at toastmasters.org. Now, that is your responsibility as the contest chair to ensure that the contestant participating is eligible through and through for that particular contest, because there is a specific rule that in case a contestant is found ineligible in the previous level of contest, then that particular contestant must not be allowed to contest, and even if that particular contest is done and that particular contestant's participation is moved into or rather taken to another contestant's next eligible contestant as far as the notification is concerned. Be it the timers, ballot counters, chief judges, all these contest role players must be available on site or online as well, and must be aware of their respective rules. And that's exactly why we would need to conduct briefing for these role players. And in addition to that, we would need to conduct the contestant briefing as well. At least 2 or 3 days before the contest, preferably I would recommend those to be conducted online and make sure that people are aware about the rules, contestants are aware about the rules and the stage setup that they wish to have. Now, there are a few things that we would need to keep in mind, especially if you are a contestant. I'll come to that towards the later part of the meeting, of the session. Now comes one of the most important aspect about contest chair's presence on stage or stage role. It could be done by a contest toastmaster as well. There is nothing to worry per se. But one point over here, which I would like to mention, is the pronunciation of the names and speech titles. Now, there is a very important aspect about maintaining uniformity for all contestants regarding this particular pronunciation. Now, I've seen multiple contests wherein, just to give you an example, the title of a speech was AWW. Now, what do we do when we say "aw"? Can someone tell me "aw"?
Oh. Oh.
Okay. Any other varieties of "aw"? Can I hear that?
Awesome.
Oh, just "aw", not awesome.
Oh.
Aw, see? We
In
have some
wonder.
beautiful voice modulations done. Trust me, as a contest chair, no voice modulation is required. All those skills will be demonstrated by all the contestants that are there on stage. But as a contest master or a contest host master or a contest chair, rather, we would need to ensure uniformity. There was a very specific request from this contestant whose speech title was at a district level contest a few years ago. And the contest chair actually pronounced it as well, there is a bias that we would create, or there is a sense of, I would say it might impact the judges' minds or the audience's minds in a different manner. You never know how it could. But the fact of the matter is, your emotion at that contest or the way you pronounce every name would need to be standard. Just a small highlight about the name part of it. Oftentimes, we tend to take it for granted that we know people's names, and we might mispronounce the names of the contestant. There was a specific name that was from the audience. I think, let me just check the list of participants once again. I forgot it. I think the member is from CMS, and there is one more from Transcend as well. So it's a very beautiful name, very unique name, I would say. But the fact over here is Rachaita. I think there's a Rachaita from one of the contestants as well a few years ago. So that's one of the names I would like to mention. Oftentimes we tend to mispronounce the names in different fashion. And I would request you, the name of a person is the identity of an individual. And it's our responsibility to respect that particular individual as well. So please, please, please touch base with the contestant, understand how their name or full name is pronounced, whichever that they wish to go with, either the first name or the full name during the contest, and pronounce it once or twice in front of them so that they understand what it is all about and they're happy about it. So the names and the titles must be uniformly pronounced throughout the contest for all the contests, all the contestants rather. Moving on, during the contest, there are a few scripts that are available that are contest specific. Please go ahead. You may wish to use those for both online and on-site. There is a short phrase that would be required for you to start with. So during your contestant briefing, please make sure that you mention this to the contestants as well. Now, as soon as you call the contestant on stage, the contestant can mention a small phrase or a line, which is to check the audio connectivity. Let's say, thank you, contest chair. And as a contest chair, you can acknowledge saying that, thank you, I hear you, something like that, and then move on to the formal introduction of the contestant. The second aspect which I would like to point out over here is we might know the speaker's name by heart. We might know the speech titles by heart as well, but please, please, please read it. Absolutely fine. None of us sitting in the audience is going to give you an award for by hearting the script, but if you read it absolutely flawlessly, I think that's where we start looking up to you as a leader that can follow that the rules that are set by Toastmasters International and that can respect the person that is taking stage, that is the contest. Read out slowly and clearly. And during the silence, it's absolute silence, absolutely. Now, 1 minute is for the contestants, between two contestants, and after the last contestants, like our chief judge mentioned during the earlier session, throughout till the time all the ballots are collected. This is especially for the judges to make sure that they're able to take care of things. And during this silence, please do not distribute the participation certificates. You could have it towards the end of the contest, along with the contestant interview, or if not. Moving on, there are a few things that we would need to remember. Make sure that you communicate to all the contestants that we arrive at least about 20 to 30 minutes before the contest. They're available at the venue or logged into the respective meetings. Have the setup ready and understand which of the contestants require or rather do not require recording. Have that informed to the contest Toastmaster if it's a different person. Make sure that the position of the timers are right in front of the speaking area and the timing device is working. Have a backup of the timing cards as well, and ensure that there is a smooth conduct of the entire contest. And for online timers, just make sure that they are in the meeting room and the contestants are notified about the same. Now, there might be protests, there might be challenges that you might go through during the contest. And these protests must be notified to the chief judge immediately. Now, who can raise a protest? I'm sitting in the audience. Can I raise a protest in a contest?
No.
So who really can raise a protest in a contest?
Only the contestants.
Only the contestants?
Other contestants.
Okay, other contestants, fair enough. I see contestants as well in the chat box. Who else?
Voting judges.
Voting judges, that's perfect. And then anybody else?
Timer.
Protest?
Timer.
Timers. Why would timer raise a protest?
Only the contestants and the judges.
Only the contestants and the judges. Okay, fantastic. Now, what can be the protest, or what could be the basis of the protests?
Originality.
Originality. Perfect. Thank you, Chetlur. Any other basis of protests?
Reference from the other contestants.
References, exactly what Malini ma'am stressed upon in the previous session. And what else?
Disturbance from audience.
Disturbance from audience. I like that protest grounds. Let me write to Toastmasters International also now. What else is the basis of protest? That's okay. What else is there?
Disqualification from due to the timings.
Sorry, what due to the timings? I lost you in between.
Disqualifications due to issues in timings, allotted timings.
Disqualification, all right, fair enough. Nobody would know the timing other than the timers in the contest. So can we really consider that as a protest grounds? I don't quite think
Eligibility? Can it be eligibility?
Eligibility. Yes, I mentioned about the eligibility assistant in the session a few minutes ago. And that's exactly one of the grounds of protest. The protests in a contest can be on three major grounds: eligibility, originality, and the referencing part of it. Now, when it comes to these, whenever a protest is raised by a contestant or a judge, it could be done so to the contest chair or the chief judge. And when it comes to you, please notify the chief judge and make sure that the protest is resolved before the announcement of the results. Now, very specific point about the originality part of it. I would like to reiterate what Malini ma'am mentioned. Understand that the originality part of the speech or the content of the speech is limited to 25%. And if the chief judge and the panel of judges, of course, after a protest is right, there would be a discussion. And for any kind of a discussion, when such a protest is raised, the contestant is called upon and allowed to defend if there is any clarification that he or she wishes to provide. So if such a thing is done, and then the chief judge, whatever the chief judge decides, is the final, I would say, outcome of that particular protest. Moving forward. Now, this is the last part when it comes to the contest chair's roles during the contest itself. Now, there is a results form that is available for download, and download these results form, hand it over to the chief judge, and then get this particular results form filled from the chief judge with the names of the winners, and that should be given to the sergeant at arms to make sure that the certificates are printed or written, the names are written correctly. Please verify at least two times so that you will be able to avoid any kind of an error that comes in. Prior to announcing the results, you please mention the number of contestants that were required, that have been disqualified on the basis of the time disqualification, sorry. And then go ahead to announce the third place, second place, and first place winner. Please, please, please do not ask the audience to guess who the winner is. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there is a time for the contest. Let's see, who do you think won the third place in the contest? No, not at all. It's okay if the audience wants to guess, let them guess separately. Do not encourage that particular activity, because what happens is, let's say, for example, I'm a contestant I always want to win in the contest. And then someone in the audience shouts third place. I'm like, what? Really? You think I'm third place winner? Not at all. I won't be happy. Or even worse, okay, I don't even place in top 3. How would I feel? Good, right? That's exactly the reason why we don't encourage people to guess during the results announcement, and acknowledge every person that has contributed to the contest and then move ahead to the next part, that is after the contest. And in the notification of contest winner, please get this form filled up with all qualified contestants. Now, what do I mean by the qualified contestant? There might not be the same 3 winners in every contest, or rather in every judge's ballot. So the chief judge is supposed to enter all these names if there are 8 contestants, and if all 8 contestants are ranked by at least one of the judges in their top 3, then the names are supposed to be written. Now comes the next point about the tie-breaking judges ballot. Let's say there is a tie for the 5th position in the contestants in the list. Let's say there are 2 contestants that have won 3rd place in 2 judges ballot. So 1 plus 1, that would be 2 points as per this, and that is the least number of points that any contestant has received. And there is another that has not. Now, what you would need to do as the chief judge, or as the ensure that the contest chair is available, the list is available for in this particular notification sheet, is that the tie-breaking judge refers to, rather the chief judge refers to the tie-breaking judge's ballot, checks for that particular tie, and also updates this list in the notification of winners. So all the names of all ranked contestants should be available in this particular notification. And like Malini ma'am said, we should be informed to the contest chair of the next level. Next, go to chief judge part of it. Must be a paid member, ineligible to contest in that particular contest, and must be eligible, rather he's not eligible to compete in the contest at which he or she is serving as the particular chief judge itself. Responsibilities in 3 different segments. Before the contest, there is a checklist to guide you through and through for the role to be discharged to the best. At least a couple of days, please make sure that you conduct the judges briefing for all the voting judges, timers, and ballot counters. Timers need not be available during the judges briefing, so please conduct the judges briefing separately for the timers, so that the timers need not know who the judges are. However, the ballot counters would need to know. Likewise, for the tie-breaking judge is known only to you as a chief judge and for no other individual. In case there are online judges, we would definitely encourage you to consider online judges in your hybrid contest setups. The reason being, it allows you to reach out to many more individuals to bring in multiple perspectives for a same contestant's speech. Now, in such a case, please determine the format or the process of judging that you wish to follow for the online judges as well. So preferably have all these judges and counters in one particular group, so that you'll be able to coordinate and take care of little aspects when it comes to the logistics. Verify the connectivity of all contest officials, and especially in terms of the online judges or the online contest officials that are there, and then resolve any protests that come up. One point which you need to take care of during every contest, or just before every contestant is allowed to take stage or come on screen, please make sure that the judges are available. Now, during the contest, there are a few more points that we would need to keep in mind. That is, the ballots would be submitted by the ballot counters, and you and the ballot counter would be moving out of the contest hall for the counting process. Ensure that the ballot counters count the ballots, mention the points very clearly, at least twice it is done. What I would personally recommend over here is, if the counting is done by the ballot counters, let them do that particular process, and you need not involve in the same process. As a verification, as a step 2, you can verify the entire counting process that was done by the ballot counters. Now, for both online and on-site timers, please make sure that the timer record sheet is collected in case that is given. But the official one designated by the chief judge, as our Marlini Hebar announced earlier, is what we would need to consider. Mark time disqualification after the counting is done. So the counting is done first, and then you verify the timers, strike out the contestant that have disqualified on the basis of time, if any, and then move on to ranking the final individual. So in the results form that is there, one point which we would need to remember in the results form is you would need to enter the full names of the contestants in the reverse order. That is third place, second place, and first place. Whereas in the counters tally sheets, it's first place, second place, and third place. Please ensure that you enter the details in both the sheets of paper or documents. And the results form is what is handed over to the contest chair. Complete the notification of contest winner. This is something that I just mentioned while I was mentioning about the contest chair. To break the tie at any point that is available, fill up all ranked contestants and submit it to the contest chair. And so that the contest chair submits to the next level contest. Now comes very specifically for online or hybrid contests, online only for the club level that could be applicable. Now, moderator is, I would say, approximately the role of a sergeant at arms is for the online mode of contest. But more than anything else, it is also considered a contest official. When it comes to before the contest, there are a few things that we would need to keep in mind in terms of the platform readiness, and more than anything else, to make sure that we are able to use a professional license account, be it Zoom or Microsoft Teams or whichever is that your organization or your club was using during the COVID days, in case you plan to conduct a club level online contest. So in case you need a Zoom Pro account, please feel free to reach out to the area or division directors. We will be able to help you out there as well. For area and division, there's nothing to worry. There is already an account that is given by the district for their use for such online events as well. Now, one point which we would need to remember is there might be multiple features like breakouts and waiting rooms that are required to be familiarized with. So please make sure that it's not your very first time as the online host or co-host of that particular meeting. Just have to take care of that. Enlist all the respective contest officials if in case there are online contest officials such as sergeant at arms or timers as well. And in case the naming convention is applicable, you could very well use that. Now, there are a few video settings that are required. Preferably recommend this to the contest chair and coordinate with him or her for the contestant briefing as well. That is the best quality of the video that must be used in terms of the internet connectivity. There is no noise in the particular image, preferably from a laptop or a webcam, or not very specifically mobile phone cameras. If there's a fantastic camera, there is nothing to worry when it comes to mobile phone cameras as well. If it has a single camera setup, it's always, that is the rule that is available as per the rule book. There is no multiple camera angles for contestants that we need to encourage or in simple terms, allow. So in case there is a tripod that a contestant can, or a standard table or something like that, the contestant can make the setup in, help him or her to coordinate on that part. And finally, the speaking area. The speaking area is something that we need to finalize, especially for the contestants that wish to log in online. The reason being, the speaking area should be as much as possible uniform for all contestants. Now, when it comes to an online contest, you can ensure. When it comes to an on-site contest, you can ensure. But how about both? That is where the confusion might come up, saying that, hey, how would you ensure a similar speaking area? The thing is, when it comes to an online contest, the stage is what, on-site contest, the stage is what we set as a speaking area. However, in an online contest, in most cases, at least about 3 to 4 feet, if the contestant's speaking room, wherever he or she is taking the speech from, if that amount of space is available, 3 to 4 feet from that particular camera, when the camera or the laptop is placed in front of the contestant, that would be a preferred, I would say, speaking area for the contestant that is logged in online. So as much as possible, make sure that all the contestants are using the similar speaking area. It should not be like I have the camera at this end and I'm speaking from the other end of the room, but another contestant is speaking like this. So that may not be so uniform, but it's our responsibility to make sure that all the contestants are able to showcase their talent as speakers in a uniform manner. Moving on, the lighting part of it, preferably recommend this, make these recommendations to the contestants as well, obviously with the help of the contest chair, when it comes to the lighting. It's better they have the lighting in front of rather just behind the camera that directly faces the speaker. Unless and until it's completely unavoidable, there is no other way for the contestant, then it's pretty much the contestant's responsibility to make sure that they are there in a fully lit area, so that their expressions are visible for the judges to make notes. Now, during the contest, definitely you would need to log in much earlier than everyone else and take care of your setup and things like that. But there might be cases wherein members or the participants in the online meeting might drop out. In case it's a meeting participants, nothing to worry. During the gap is when we would be allowing the person. In case it is a contestant, if it is during the speech, please allow the person immediately into the room so that the contestant can continue with the speech after the specific time frame. And then if it is during another contestant speech, allow the person to join in after that particular contest. We would recommend you disable the chat box throughout the contest. Before the contest and after the contest, it's absolutely not a problem. But during the contest, right before the contest begins, please ensure that the chat box is disabled and the self-unmute option is also disabled. I'll take a brief pause here and check on the time, because we are about to talk about the timing, timer's role in a contest, which is very, very important. Now, what else is there? Someone could you quickly tell me in terms of the time, how much do I have? It's 11:30. I think about 10, 12 minutes. Samar. Okay, not a problem. Let me continue. Timer. All right. Obviously, one point to note, timer is appointed by the chief judge and not the contest chair. Obviously, a paid member ineligible to contest during that particular contest. There are a couple of things which the timer would need to do. There is nothing for the timer. So, hey, if you want to stay very happy after the contest, the best role that you can take is that of a timer, because there's only something that you got to do before the contest and there's only something that you got to do during the contest. But trust me, it is the most important role in a contest. So there are a couple of the points which the timer would need to keep in mind for the contest. Receive the most important document, that is the timer's sheet from the contest chair. Once that is sheet is available with you, so go through that particular document and of course the checklist that is available on the website to understand what the role is much before the contest. For all contests, we would recommend 2 online timers and 2 on-site timers, because it is a hybrid setup. Now, one point which you got to remember is to maintain uniformity in time. Just reiterate one point which our Chief Judge Malini mentioned regarding the time. We are not going to consider the microseconds, milliseconds, nanoseconds, and all these are seconds. Only the normal seconds is what we will consider. If it is 7 minutes, 30 seconds, even 99 microseconds or 99 small seconds, please consider 7 minutes 30. Only when the number 0 in 7 minutes 30 changes to 1, it goes to 7 minutes 31. That's exactly what we are going to follow when it comes to time. Yes, please participate in the contestant briefing. Contestants should know who you are, how you look, and what is the timing device that is used during the contest. Please make sure that is also communicated, showcased. One small point, during the entire contest, I often see in on-site contests saying that the timer, playing with the timer cards, they have this timer card and they keep like this. They wave it. They say, go like this, nothing of those things. One thing which you got to remember is uniformity. So preferably the timers that are present are going to show the cards in case the cards are getting displayed. Please hold your hand up where you are comfortable. It should be above your head level. It's always better if it is so, but you should be comfortable with this particular thing, because you're going to hold it for 30 seconds in case of evaluation contest, and you're going to hold it for 1 minute in case of international speech contest. So it is important for you to be comfortable and not wave the flag, waving flag, all these kind of things. Another tip over here is, in case you're using the right hand to show the green card, have the yellow card in your left hand. move it up when the next minute goes in. Hold to 30 seconds or 1 minute. Stay there so that your right hand takes the break for the red card, and then you can go up once again. It's just a simple tip that you could possibly use as a timer during a contest, because hey, holding the hand up for 3 minutes is not an easy task and very important role when it comes to the time. So the during contest part of it, the timing signals, order, all these aspects should be kept in handy and very, very carefully. There is no miss that we can really go about. And there is a very specific point on the timing part over here. Now, there is something called as when people are connected online, if they get disconnected, what do we really have? Now, let's say there is an interference in the timing device. There is an error in the timing device as well in on-site contests. What do we do? So there is a 30-second grace that is given to the contestant in case of a failure of a timing signal. All right. Now, what happens over here is if the card is not shown correctly, that's when the grace point comes into play for an on-site contest. For an online contest, when the contestant gets disconnected or something, there is an additional buffer that is given. Or when the timer is not displaying the card correctly for an online contest as well. That is where the grace is given. Now let's talk about the next point, or the second point. When a contestant gets disconnected, what do we really do? Now the 30 seconds grace is primarily for the timing of the contest alone and not for the contestant to rejoin. For the contestant to rejoin and come back into the setup, we allow them to do so within the 5-minute break that we can give them a maximum of that time. Because there might be whatever the challenge is, you never know how it could come up. We have conducted online contests, but this is something that we got to remember. It's not for connecting back, but it is in the timing. That 30-second additional grace is only given or in case the contestant overshoots that particular time. Okay, so that is what is taken into consideration after the timing, in timing rather. Now, one point is, please note down the contestant order when it comes to, the contestant that is participating. Receive the contestant order from the chief judge or rather the contest chair, and make a note of it and do not miss that particular order, whatever happens. Now comes another important, I would say very important role of a sergeant at arms. Now, why is sergeant at arms really important? My thing is the contest, sergeant at arms would be sacrificing, witnessing the contest. And that's not an easy thing for a sergeant at arms to compromise on. So because, especially in an evaluation contest, the sergeant at arms is required to be with the contestant, be it in the soundproof room in the on-site setup, or be it in the breakout room in the online setup. So this is where the sergeant at arms would need to be willing to sacrifice witnessing the contest and be glad to serve as the contest sergeant at arms. So before the contest, very simple. For on-site contests, we will have one in the meeting room, one for the contestants in the soundproof room for evaluation contest, and preferably have one more sergeant at arms at the on-site contest for the AV mic setup. And for the mic setup, the recommendation obviously over here is to have one male and one female sergeant at arms as well. For online contests, one in the meeting room, main meeting room, and the other would be in the breakout room. That would move along with the evaluation contestants during the evaluation contest as well. Then the rule book, all these standard rules apply, and briefing also apply for the contest sergeant at arms. During the contest, it's very simple. Please coordinate with the moderator. Please coordinate with the contest chair to make sure that the setup is ready. Make sure that the mics are also working along with the AV setup, the speakers and the mics more importantly. And during the mic check for the on-site contest and the online contest as well, please make sure that the contestants are available there for a very brief period of time. For the ballot counters, it's going to be pretty simple. Only thing that they need to be good at is math. You know, some addition more than sufficient, you can be ballot counters. There's nothing to worry. Now, what is required for a ballot counter rather? You will get a counter tally sheet from the contest chair or the chief judge. Please make sure you go through the document, make a note of what is mentioned over here. The 3 points for first place, 2 points for second place, and 1 point for third place winners. And then first place, second place, third place winner. There's a blank that you got to fill as the ballot counter. So once you receive the ballots through after the contest, so before the contest, please make sure that you understand where the judges are seated. In case, please sit next to the ballot, next to the judges or most of the judges that are available, and collect the ballots from the respective judges. Move to meet the chief judge at the end of the hall, and then step out as soon as all the ballots are collected. Please verify, do not open the ballots right then and there, but please verify the number of ballots that you have received. Only after you receive all the ballots from all the judges, please give a thumbs up to the chief judge and the contest chair. Chief judge can notify the contest chair as well, of course, and then you may step out of the hall for counting process. Now, this is exactly what I was talking about. First place, second place, third place. This is what we would need to enter in the counter tally sheet. Once this is entered over here, the chief judge will enter in the results form, as I mentioned earlier. So one point is each ballot must be valid. So please make sure that you would, in case you choose to do the counting process online, you can very well have the screen shared through the particular meeting, or in case you do it using the counter tally sheet that is given to you a hard copy, please make sure that you open the ballots first, put everything together, and one by one verify the validity of the ballots. The judge should have written the full name or the name and then signed there as well. And the second point is, if the ballots are filled properly, that is, all ballots should contain 1, 2, 3. In case a judge has mentioned that first place, let's say Narayanan and Subramanian, then the ballot is not valid. Not because both of them cannot win first place, obviously they can, but because there cannot be 2 names that can be mentioned. Narayanan is holding me, I'm pretty sure. Okay, but we need to mention only 1 name in that particular ballot. Next comes the judges. We have gone through this, voting judge. I'll cover this. There are a couple of points which I just saw in the chat box. Let me just address these 2. Thank you, Nandan sir, for sharing this. One of the points that Nandan sir has mentioned is, in case there are 4 timers, how would we coordinate between the 2 timers that are connected online and showing signal? Signal is showing by only 1 timer. The mode can be decided by the chief judge. It could be as simple as showing the timer card in front of the camera, that the camera is facing the contestant, or showing the timer card to the contestant online as well. I mean, on site as well. So the mode can be decided by the chief judge as to how they would want to showcase or display the card. I have seen in a few contests wherein the screen, there is a small screen that is facing the contestant that operates the timing signals, and the timer operates the timer card from the mouse that is connected to the laptop. So that again works. You can show the card there, and you can show the card in front of the camera as well. Absolutely fine. There is no hard and fast rule when it comes to the timer part of it. I'll take the next question during the question answer session and answer. Now, moving on to the contestant, there is very quickly, I need to finish this off now. Contestant part of it, your responsibility is to understand these rules that are there, and more than anything else, prepare very well for the contest. In case you are unable to make, for whatever the reasons, for an on-site participation, please communicate to the contest chair and make sure that your setup is ready. So one point to complete before the contest is to make sure that you sign in all the required documents that are there: contestant profile, eligibility, and originality certification. And of course, we would need a beautiful photograph of you for the contest PR. Prop usage. Now, this is a very important point. In prop usage, no one from the contest management team is responsible to help you. It is your responsibility to make sure that the props are brought on stage and taken out of stage within the 1 minute that is assigned as far as the silence. So that's exactly what we would need to keep in mind as far as the prop usage is concerned. So demonstrate this during your contestant briefing, and only if you are able to finish that entire setup and dismantling the prop within the 1 minute, the contest management team will allow you to use that prop, otherwise no. So please make sure that you take care of the venue restrictions also when you plan the props for that particular contest. And that's exactly why participation in a trial run is very, very important. During the contest, please acknowledge with the line that the contest chair decides. That's primarily for your online check. There is no other video clarity check, hello mic testing 1 2 3 check, all these things possible. Only that single line, then wait for you to be introduced and then go ahead. For contestants that would participate online, preferably do not use virtual backgrounds. Plain backgrounds always connect well because they do not have distractions. But for that, there is, I think, major yes. This is a point that I just wanted to highlight that comes after the contest. Now, after the contest, one of the most common things is we expect to win as a contestant, but hey, we do not. And then I'll go on complaining that no, the judges weren't all right, I was not very happy, and all this kind of things. Please avoid public criticism. Respect every judge's opinion, and that's exactly why a specific contestant has won in the contest. And then prepare for the next level of contest, or hey, if you are not placed as the winner, prepare for next year. But one more thing, in case you're not the winner for that contest, but still there might be a tiny chance that you might be a participant. Let me give you an example. The world champion of public speaking of 2015. Who is it? Mohammad Katani. He won the championship of that particular year, but he was a second place winner at the district level contest. He could not participate in the semifinals of the world championship, or rather the winner could not participate in the semifinals. And that's why Katani got an opportunity to participate. And today he's the world champion of public speaking. So you never know when that opportunity might come in. Even if you don't qualify, please be aware that you can be given an opportunity in unless and until the contestant before you who was placed is unavailable. Last but not the least, ladies and gentlemen, the contest management is something that's a beautiful experience, be it as a contestant, be it as a contest official. One point over here is it allows you to evolve as an individual, as a leader. And I would encourage you to go through that particular experience and see how beautiful this Toastmasters world of contests is really, and experience the taste of it in this contest season. All the best. Please put in your questions in the chat box directly to Samar or to everyone. We will take it up just after the next session as well. Thank you, and back to you, Samar.